I'm going to put it this way. The answer is yes, but right now you would do it for the wrong reasons. And I'm saying don't do it until you're doing it for the right reasons. Because going there, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons will not bear fruit. That's the end of the answer.
Thank you. My next question would be, I could ask questions all day, but the most concerning one to me is, I've listened to you for a couple hours now on persistence, and I've been really, really good about following what I feel is guidance in my path and overcoming a lot of struggles. What in the world did Bill Hires do coming into my life?
What? I'm sorry, what in the world?
What was the reasoning for Bill Hires to come into my life?
So that you could finally learn how to say no unequivocally. And love yourself while doing it. And this is me, Paul, and when he said saying no unequivocally, it's like from the tips of your toes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. Hands. I'm sorry, would somebody open these blinds?
You want just the slats open?
No, raise them. Thank you. Hands. Right here. Where's the mic?
My whole life I've been kind of exposed to different ways of healing that promises you to awakening or to enlightenment. And as a young age, I've always just known that you are, and you just need to become aware of it. And so I've always been had such like a negative attitude towards, Reiki and anything that has to do with some kind of promise to some kind of land through doing some kind of healing, like inner child, anything. And I have a mom that's always with the upcoming new, most exposed thing that is going to promise you this new way of thinking or life. And about 2 years ago, she mentioned this group she went to once, and with this guy named Aja, which is a guru. And all you do is you sit with another partner and you tell them who you are, and eventually you come to the consciousness that you are nothing, and we are all, and all is all. And it's kind of just been common knowledge for me for a long time. And I was the last person, everyone gets to sit with him, and I was the last person to sit with him. And I finally came to the, not just knowing, but experiencing the nothingness. And I sat in the nothingness for about 2 weeks. And then I realized that it was boring, and there was nothing to it. And I was over it. I was over it. I wanted the ego back, and I wanted to continue life. And I heard the reason, until today, I've only heard about 2 minutes of you until this weekend. And the only part I heard on the tape was, enlightenment is not fun. Enlightenment is boring and dull. And if you think that it's fun and you reach this point, you're fooling yourself. And that's all I've heard. And since that point, probably, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, I've been like, Mom, who is this man? Where is he? And how can we go see him? So my question is, how do I continue being able to being able to fall into nothingness, to be able to, in a minute, be all, and and realize that it has to be that I can't do that and be functional in my society, and then not now, since that experience years ago, not be depressed and judgmental and thinking that the rest of the world just doesn't have common sense.
Let me tell you that right now, Paul is relaying my words. The experience of his connection with me is boring. Is the result boring?
No.
Does it appear as though he is bored? What I mean is that when one is in a state of equilibrium or balance, there's nothing exciting about it. And excitement means that there's that there is nothing exciting about it means there is nothing fearful about it. But it doesn't mean that it's not meaningful. It is not exciting to the ego. It is boring to the ego. But I will tell you something, in that state of evenness, you do experience meaningfulness. And so it's not a void, and you do not become dysfunctional in the world, and you become more meaningful to those around you. Mm-hmm. So we're not talking about, we're really not talking about something undesirable.
I guess it's just undesirable for me because it's really, it's hard for me to be in that state and have the rest of, I have a hard time, I guess I'm mostly depressed because I don't have anyone else in my life that I can just sit and be with that doesn't have ego reflecting and trying to reflect on my ego. And so it makes it hard for me because I feel alone in it. And I feel like the rest of the world needs to just clean up their shit. Because I can't have it being opposed on me all the time. It gets draining, and it makes me not motivated to do anything in life. And I've changed a lot since then. The desire to live is not there. And it's just because it's so hard for me to deal with everybody. And not coming from compassion. It's when I'm in the nothingness stage, there's not even compassion in me. There's nothing, I can't even have compassion for them having their issues. And so when I finally come into the ego, it's anger, and the ego isn't as controlling, isn't fun anymore, because it realizes that it has no substance in me unless I allow it to have substance. So it doesn't like me anymore. It doesn't allow me to have as much fun as it used to.
You know what? In the book, A Course in Miracles, the very first lesson says, nothing I see means anything. Now, if that's not a depressing statement, I don't know what is. And that's lesson 1. Where can you possibly go from there?
I don't know. I'm asking.
The blessing of the nothing place is exactly what you found out, that you can't stand it. The reason you can't stand it is because it is completely antithetical to existence. But You know what? Most of you don't let yourself into a place where you're experiencing nothing, because you have it so filled with all of your thoughts and all of your best judgments and your best ideas and your best imaginations, and it's just all you. Busy, 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 busy. And you don't even know that there's a nothing place. You don't know, in other words, that there's a place that can be empty of the busyness of you. You let yourself into that place that was empty of you.
Of all.
Well, yes. Empty
Right,
of
okay.
all the meanings for everything that you had for everything, and you let yourself be in the void. The void is just a stepping stone. It is a place absent of all of the busyness of your ego, your definitions, your ideas, blah, blah, blah. And you realize that in the absence of you, and in the absence of everything, it's intolerable. Because you've abandoned the meanings you gave to everything, and in the void of nothingness, everything is meaningless, and you know that in order for life to be worth experiencing, there has to be meaning. So, that's the benefit of the nothing place, of what I refer to as the not knowing place. The moment you recognize at a deep level within yourself that there has to be meaning, and you don't provide the meaning, and you become curious as to what the meaning is, then reality, the real meaning of everything, can enter, because there's room, you see.
That makes perfect sense.
And so you need to go on to the next step. Wow, what does this mean? Wow, what does this mean? Wow, I have no idea what this means. God or source of existence? What meaning are you expressing here? And let yourself be filled. I'll tell you that one of the first things that you're filled with is this irrepressible love embracing you. And it is so pure, and it is so clear, and it's so unequivocal, that there's not even any space for you to say, I don't deserve this. Instead, you, for the first time, really know that you are utterly lovable and deserving. That's the starting point. It honors you first. And from there begins, as you let it in, to find the meaningfulness in everything. And as you begin to experience the meaningfulness of everything, it isn't just you and everything, but it's everything is some part of the infiniteness of you, because you're not separated from it either. And so to go into the void, to go into the nothing, to arrive at the point where the first lesson of the Course that says, nothing I see means anything, to arrive at that point is absolutely essential, but it's not the end of the road.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Now, you knew it wasn't the end of the road
I just didn't know it was
because
beyond
it was intolerable for everything to be meaningless, for everything to be nothing. And you learned something you never knew before. Meaning is an absolutely fundamental essential of existing, of your existing.
That everything I thought.
Not you as
yeah.
an ego, but of existing, period. Meaning is a fundamental essential of the conscious experience of being.
I just need to let God's knowingness of what real reality is to be entered instead of my ego's idea.
Exactly.
Right.
So that was just the first step.
Thank you so much. I just didn't know where to go from there, and I've just been struggling for a long time. I thought that it was the end of humanism for me. That I just was waiting for God to take me.
Yes, well, the thing that I have to keep sharing with people is that what follows is not otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning is going to be about the person sitting next to you.
Yes.
The meaning is going to be about the distressing person next to you on the freeway. The meaning is about commitment and involvement and willingness to witness for the best in your brother rather than the ego crap he is presenting or she is presenting. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you have first, from the void, said, Father, Source, whatever you want, whatever word you want to use, what is your vision here of this one? Because until you have that vision, you won't be able to extend love. Mm-hmm. All you'll be able to do is to react to the ego crap that's being presented. The thoughtlessness, the greed, the self-seeking, the one-upmanship, blah, blah, blah.
It's my favorite word, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. So, that's where it's at.
Thank you so much.
What I want to come back to is to reiterate that you did yourself the greatest blessing by going to that guru. Because you had a learning that you couldn't get from a book. You know that the void, that nothingness, is intolerable. Now, that's an experience. You won't ever be able to forget that. It's not an intellectual tidbit that you stored away in your memory. You felt it down to your gut. Mm-hmm. You know it's the truth. And what I'm telling you is that is, I don't like these kind of words, but I'm going to call it a high spiritual truth. Here's a better way of putting it. It is a profound spiritual fact. And that's all I need to say to you today.
I got it. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Hands. In the very back.
Hi, Raj.
Good afternoon.
I like putting the pieces together. Try and look at the bigger picture. Sometimes it gets me lost on the pieces. You were talking earlier today with Gerald, and he asked about how we could help with the foundation. And your answer was what the foundation needs is for the people able and willing to send some money, which made perfect sense because last July you said that the foundation was basically a technicality by law, whereas you can bring in money. So the purpose of the foundation would be bringing in money. That makes sense. But I wonder if maybe the foundation wouldn't have a bigger purpose, over these last few months, I've been taking notes. You've been very adamant at repeating, we need to find an object of our affection. We need to find an object of our affection, and we need to get involved. Now, a lot of the people I talk to on the internet and here in this room, the foundation, or at least you as representative of the foundation, is an object of everyone's affection, and everybody is looking for ways to get more involved than writing a check without discounting the need for the involvement of writing a check. So it seems to be that there's two different messages here, one getting involved with the object of your affection, and the other is, well, the best you can do for the foundation is to help us with the money and do your personal inner work by working on yourself.
Well, this doesn't take into consideration the fact that many are availing themselves of the audio, the recordings of the gatherings that are available on the internet, and are making copies of them and sharing them with friends, which people have been doing with the audio tapes that we have sent out for years as well, because everyone is invited to freely share them with others that they feel inclined to share them with. So extension has been going on for 18 years. This extension is still going on. What more do people envision as a potential?
Well, it seems to be, from my perspective, a catch-22. The foundation's been having a hard time sending out tapes, sending out newsletters and such, because there have been times where there's been a lack of money for that. On the other hand, the foundation receives its money because it sends out tapes and sends out newsletters.
Indeed.
So that seems to be a catch-22.
It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Now, you talk about the spontaneous sharing that's been going on, people taking the feed off the internet and making CDs and sending them out. Is there any value in an integration to where these tapes are going out for the foundation to the people who are requesting it from the foundation without much effort or cost to the foundation, so that the foundation can reap the benefit?
I understand the concept. It would be more complicated to do it that way. In the first place, permission would have to be gotten from the people on the mailing list to let their addresses out to other people, because the mailing list has always been absolutely private. If someone calls and says, I'm out here in Timbuktu, is there anyone on your mailing list that's here in Timbuktu that I don't know about so I could talk with them? A call has to be made to the person there in Timbuktu to see if it's all right to give the number to them. This sort of thing takes time. All of the facilities for providing the tapes, the mailing list, the equipment for copying tapes, and hopefully equipment to make CDs, are all already in place and able to produce newsletters and tapes and so on. The real necessity has been for everyone on the mailing list to discover the opportunity that they have to play in gifting the materials, in participating in the gifting of the materials. That, in other words, it is a group effort. It is much cleaner and more efficient for it to be done from a central place. For example, someone orders something, their name and what they've requested is sent to someone who will make a copy for them, and maybe 4 or 5 names of people are sent to that person to send copies on to. Then there needs to be a checkup to see if indeed it has been accomplished. This takes manpower and time. The way it is set up is already extremely simple and utterly economical. That's the simplest way I can put it.
Okay. For our friends listening on the internet, then, would you encourage them to keep the extension and form their own networks outside the foundation for exactly this?
Well,
If this is the object of their affection and that is their way of becoming involved.
Certainly, certainly. This is not at all uncommon in England, although it is uncommon in the United States by comparison. And networks of that sort have been set up. Absolutely. Any means of sharing the materials is perfectly acceptable. The only thing that is not acceptable is for a charge to be made for the extension. Whether it's coming from the foundation or from other people, it is not acceptable for a dollar amount to be placed on the extension. In fact, that is the only reason any of the materials are copyrighted. So that if someone began to charge for the materials, there would be recourse for stopping it.
Acceptable or encouraged?
The copying and sharing?
Yes.
Oh, encouraged.
Okay, guys.
Every single document.
You heard it. You know who you are. If you feel the need to get involved, here's the object of your affection. Go for it. Thank you, Raj.
Yes. Every newsletter and every list of materials available that has ever gone out has said, you are welcome to copy and share this with friends. That has always been the policy. And so whoever it is out there, go to it.
Should they include the address of the foundation with their tapes they share?
It is appropriate to identify its source and what it is accurately, yes.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Well, I thank all of you for being here, for letting me in, and I encourage you to let me in more frequently when you're not here. At least be curious to see if I will respond. And, you know, I teach best by being a friend. So, when you listen, don't listen for a great teacher. Listen for a great friend. I won't put up with any of your shit. But I won't put up with it in a friendly way. I do love you all. Okay.